welcome into Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland Certified Financial Planning Professional Tim Stearns, CFP, your guide, ladies and gentlemen, to the complex financial world, helping you navigate it, simplify it, and make sure that your plan, your money, your investments are working to help you achieve and accomplish your goals. That is the Protect and Grow written retirement blueprint that Tim Stearns, CFP, and his team of professionals put together for you there at TJ Stearns Inc. Tim, always a pleasure to have you along for the ride.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me.
And today, going to be talking about building the foundation, the foundation for a secure, stable, confident retirement, and where we start. I think, Tim, if you look at houses, every structure from small cottages to
Yep.
skyscrapers, you start first with the foundation, and then
Yep.
you build upon that, right?
That's exactly right. And I try to explain that to everybody. It seems like many people who come in to see us after listening to the show think the foundation is just having a mix of stocks and bonds and the rest will take care of itself. And that's truly not the way it is. And we try to make sure that when we're doing a protect and grow blueprint for them, that they understand the process that we're going to go through to make sure that we are rock solid.
Well, retirement is a completely different phase of your financial life. Income no longer generated from the paycheck. You've got to generate it yourself. It comes from Social Security, maybe a pension, and then your own savings. And it's at that time, I think, Tim, that we start to know if there are cracks in the foundation, if it's been eroding, if maybe we have not placed enough emphasis on making sure we are on sound, stable footing.
I agree with that. You have to stress test anything that you're going to be doing in retirement. Hoping for the best is not the way to do it. I saw an interesting commercial over the weekend where a guy, it's only 30 seconds long, but it sends a really great message. And that is the one guy says, have you, met with your advisor? Well, I don't have one, I'm just going to hope for the best. And the guy, crosses his fingers and does a bunch of things to say, I'm praying for it to come to fruition. And the other guy is, measured 14 times, cut once is very stable. And I think that's how a lot of America is that they're hoping for the best. And you can't, we've had a great stock market and I'm very happy for everyone that they've made money, but it seems like people are getting really soft and lazy about what markets are out there that can happen to us. And that is a bear market could destroy everything that you've built if you're not careful.
Well, I always have appreciated the analogy of the blueprint, and you call your planning process the Protect and Grow written retirement blueprint. That is the plan that people can get there and only there at TJ Stearns Inc. And it has always had the foundation first kind of approach as we are going to talk about here on today's program, Tim. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Stearns, CFP, your resource there at TJ Stearns Inc. Chicagoland, lucky to have such a resource, a certified financial planning professional who makes the offer, is willing to help sit down with you and make sure that you have a plan, a blueprint in place with that sound, solid foundation. If you'd like to take advantage of that offer, no cost, no obligation. It is a complimentary courtesy service that Tim Stearns CFP offers. Pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So Tim, when we talk about laying this foundation, we've got a footprint here that we're going to need to fill, right? And that footprint is what we're spending, our expenses, our budget. And not enough people pay attention to their spending, their expenses, and their budget, especially when they're earning a pretty comfortable living during the last phase of their working years, their paycheck years.
Well, to your point, it seems many times either neither party knows, either spouse, or only one of them. And I think that leads to conclusions that aren't out there, or people thinking, oh, I'm going to jump to the conclusion that we'll be fine because, we've always been fine. Well, it's a different world. So you need to figure out exactly what your expenses are and what your obligations are. And then obviously figure out what is going to be coming in the doors is your sources of income. And whatever that gap is needs to be matched, or you're going to run out of money real fast.
Yeah, this is the other side of it. This is how we fill the hole and create the foundation, Tim. You know, a house may have a slab or a basement or a crawl space or what have you. A skyscraper has pillars with rebar that go deep, deep into the ground, but we've got to fill it to create that stability, and that is income. And so we're going to be talking about understanding the expense side, the hole that we're going to have to fill, and then how to fill that hole most effectively on today's program. And again, this is information that I think is important for people to reflect on. But what is most important is that you understand and internalize this, but have a specific plan for your situation, ladies and gentlemen, with all of your ideal different features and facets and accents put on it. Right, that is what a blueprint is when you are building a house. Is that in good conditions, here's the house. In bad conditions, here's the house. It's still going to stand because it's
Yep.
stable. And you've customized it and created it and made it yours. And so if you would like to get that plan put together, again, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. But Tim, retirement really is that new phase. No more paycheck. And so suddenly the spending and expenses and the budget come into play and are much higher priority, I think, that they were maybe the year and the decade before as we were working.
Well, I would hope they'd go under a pretty strict microscope so that you know exactly what is going out the door. And, again, we come back to what our expenses are and what our obligations are. You can't just, stop paying your utilities because you're retired and they don't decrease them. So, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we understand exactly what that dollar is that's going out the door and the dollar that's coming in. And that's why we ask people, literally build a line item budget. Compare it with past spending. Expect shifts. Some costs might drop, others might increase. But at the end of the day, you have a foundation that for retirement planning, and that is your budget.
Do you find that many people actually have been paying attention to that, or is this something that is just grossly overlooked, Tim?
I'd say half and half. And I'm including the half that are keeping an eye on it, as to the people that are getting ready to retire. And then they start really drilling down on what their bills are because they want to know it. The other half, they're hoping for the best, and you cannot retire with hope.
All right. Well, again, I think this is an important part, right? Is that we need to be aware that this is going to be a major component, like the most important, perhaps, ongoing thing that we will have to address in retirement is our desire, our necessity, our ability to spend money. We don't do very many things with our money, Tim. We spend it, we save it, we pay taxes, we pay bills, and that's about it, right? We've got to cover those three things. We got to pay taxes, we got to pay bills, and we probably want to be able to spend. And the only thing that we've got to be able to do those things with is our savings and what we have, and we don't want to see that drain or deplete too quickly. So now we talk about the other side. We've kind of done the line item budget. We've reviewed those expenses. Now we begin the process of filling that footprint and that hole in as stable a manner as possible. And there are a couple sources of guaranteed income that could come into play, Tim.
Right. And first and foremost, you're going to start with Social Security. If someone's not receiving Social Security, they're receiving a pension in most cases. With the windfall provision being lifted, some people are getting both now, which is excellent. And then you have some people who are receiving annuities. Maybe they put money back in the day into an annuity that they're going to use as their primary paying segment. But we need to know the amounts, the timing, and tax treatment. I have a lot of people who will come in here and say, "Oh, my other advisor never even asked for any of this." Well, a lot of advisors nowadays are doing, money advising, your stocks and bonds. This goes a lot deeper than that, and it has to make it last 30 plus years. You're going to have to really dive into the nooks and crannies, including what do I get for Social Security? What if I turn it on? Will that affect my spouse? When does it affect my spouse? That type of thing. So we're going to do a deep dive and make sure that people are understanding what the budget is, how we're going to pay for it, what the guarantees are, and then figure out what that income gap is.
You find that some people have this as kind of an afterthought. Hey, Tim, I'm retiring. Oh, hey, by the way, how am I going to get paid? How am I going to take withdrawals out of my
Yeah.
accounts? I haven't ever talked about or thought about that. And uh, maybe that might be important the day, the week, the month, the decade after I retire.
Well, that's a great point. And most people have only retired once, so they don't know it very well. They're not experts in it because they've never done it. And what we try to explain to people is you have your budget minus your guaranteed income, and that's going to be your income gap. And what we'll do is we'll either send out some money every month or turn on your annuity if you have it, to fill that, or we might use an annuity to fill it then and there, to make sure that we're getting guaranteed income. Because, we say to people, you got paid this month, where is your next guaranteed payment coming, and when? And we, that makes people kind of take pause and go, okay, I got to figure this out to building my retirement paycheck and how it's going to look.
Yeah. But that budget, the spending, the expenses, minus the sources of guaranteed income, Social Security, pensions if we have them, the annuity if we've dedicated some money to that. Tim, what's left over? That income gap. That's maybe one of our most important numbers to know,
Absolutely.
and probably very few people have an accurate figure of that. They maybe in the ballpark, but have a real knowledge of how much they're going to have to rely on their portfolio to generate for them and what kind of stress that puts on the portfolio. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why you've got to sit down with an experienced, qualified professional, a certified financial planning professional, and formulate your protect and grow written retirement blueprint. If you'd like to do that, again, Tim Stearns, CFP, offers to do that with you. No cost, no obligation. All you got to do is start the process by picking up the phone and giving a call, 800 640 2256. That's 800 640 2256. But Tim, to fill the rest of that gap, that is what formulating the income plan. That's what it's all about. Like that is the critical key to this.
Well, yeah, it's your roadmap for withdrawals. Where you can take money from first, your IRAs, your brokerage, your Roth. What is your idea of retirement look like, and where are you going to get the money from? You also want to make sure that you're coordinating with a tax strategy, because a lot of these people are over 65 and they have IRMA, coming around. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that the goal is sustainable, reliable income every month. And whatever that looks like, we need to get there.
And the taxes, Tim, probably maybe another overlooked afterthought is that
Sure.
people are like, oh, hey, how do I generate income? Oh, wait, I'm still going to have to pay taxes. Nobody's ever talked about this with me, Tim, and I think that kind of fresh discussion and perspective is why a lot of people probably turn from other brokers and advisors over to TJ Stearns Inc. and the help and the assistance that you provide through designing this protect and grow plan.
Well, again, they've asked their other advisors for, help with Social Security. They won't touch that. They want to know advice on taxation. They won't help them with that. The things that we're doing here is, A to Z. As they say, soup to nuts, and we're going to make sure that people are taken care of. The next part of that would be strategizing Social Security. Uh, you know, um, we try to, look at talking cues like that. For example, it is a very critical retirement decision. And, the timing is going to affect your lifetime income. And most importantly, you need to understand what it's going to, consider for spousal and survivorship benefits, and make sure that you're optimizing it. There's not a rush here. You need to make sure that you take a look at it. What drives me crazy is on the Social Security Administration website, it says it only takes 15 minutes to churn on your income. My issue with that is that no one should go down that rabbit hole by themselves. They
Mhm.
should look at, we have different reports that we can run. You should look at reports to see where it makes the most sense for your family when to turn it on, and make sure that you're strategizing with someone who's qualified. And I know that we are.
Tim, when you say no rush here, I mean, I think there are a large number of people who run out and get it the day that they turn
Yeah.
62, as soon as they're
Yeah.
eligible. Um, not necessarily the best or optimal choice for many people to maximize the benefits that they would get over their lifetime. And in fact, a lot of undue consequences can come of claiming and collecting Social Security at an unoptimal time.
Oh, absolutely. And for example, a lot of people don't realize you only get 75% of what your full retirement payment would be. And that's for lifetime. It's not like something flips over when you turn 66 in so many months, or in my case, 67 because I'm 53. So we make sure that people understand that we're going to take a real good look at our report to see what the best time is for you to optimize retirement. And optimizing is truly important. You put 35 years of your top earning in there, you want to make sure you do it right.
Well, again, if you would like that Protect and Grow written retirement blueprint, including the discussion of understanding all of your Social Security coordinated strategies, the timing, the options of when and how to collect, to maximize the foundation, to minimize that income gap, to get you as financially confident on a lasting basis as possible. That is what the Protect and Grow written retirement blueprint is for, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, and TJ Stearns Inc. a call. It is a complimentary service that they offer to sit down with you and help you review your situation and your investments, discuss your goals, and design that Protect and Grow written retirement blueprint. 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256. And then, Tim, once we've got the foundation, we start building and creating our vision. But we always have to be aware of and understand the risks that we might face.
Oh, yeah. I'll start with the market risk. I'm seeing people, I had a 70-year-old come in here the other day who had 80% of his money in the stock market. And you want to know, why not? Why do you think that's crazy? And I'm trying to explain to him, do you remember 2008? Do you remember the early 2000s? Do you remember bear markets? I think a lot of us are trying to forget the past, but we need to remember that because as they say, if you don't remember the past, you're doomed to, repeat it. And that scares me because a lot of these people in 2008 were a lot younger. So, they made it back in this nice market we've had for about 15 years. But at the end of the day, they can't do that anymore because if a market goes down 30% and it stays down, we have an issue. And then you're going to read into sequence of returns risk, all the things we talk about in my book. And that's one thing I do want to offer today, Peter, because we're talking about our strategies and they're all in the book about what, the rhyme and reason to why I do what I do. So I want to offer 10 books to the first 10 callers that have over $1 million worth of assets so that we can get them into our hands so that they can understand exactly the strategy that we do with people, whether it comes to Social Security, Medicare, investments, annuities, long-term care, et cetera.
That book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, ladies and gentlemen, outlines many of the issues that we will face and then helps to discuss the pillars and how to build your own retirement blueprint and the risks that we will face, how to address them in today's modern retirement. And if you would like to get a copy, again, be one of the first 10 callers. These strategies do work best. The book is most appropriate for those with at least $1 million or more of assets, investable assets saved. So that is for the offer who that is for today. Pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256. And Tim, even if we have those kind of assets, not insignificant amount of money at all, I think that those that are well off and confident today still do worry about the potential for market risk and a large market downturn and what that could mean for the forecast for their retirement, the sequence of risk, the reverse dollar cost averaging, as you spoke about, as well as the hit that they're going to encounter from taxes.
Right. And the sequence of returns risk that you touched on, and I said a little bit ago, most people don't know what that is. And it's a really simple process. It's basically when you get harmed by taking money out of when the market is going down. Now, let me ask you this. We've had a nice bull run here. So what do you think's up next? So if I was going to retire, I would want to make sure that I have a solid protect and grow blueprint before I start promising things that I can't deliver if the market goes down.
Yeah. Do we want to create income, Tim, from our market-based accounts? At least the essential income that we know we're going to need to cover is the market the appropriate source for that?
No, because it's not guaranteed. And I think that you have to have a guaranteed income. So I would do that in the form of an annuity. These are some of the highest interest rates I've seen in my career. I think that it's a great opportunity for people to tap into that. And it's guaranteed for the lifetime of the annuity, and it's a lifetime income for you and your spouse. My wife and I own them, full disclosure, because I don't have a pension and I'm going to need one, to have a guarantee that will stay above inflation too.
Protecting essential income first is the way to build that
Paramount.
foundation we've talked about.
Right. I think that's paramount to being successful in retirement. No one wants to go back to work, and I want to make sure that I have guarantees on that to get it through.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, that Protect and Grow Written Retirement Blueprint and a copy of the book Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. If you would like your opportunity to speak with a certified financial planning professional, get your Protect and Grow Blueprint custom designed and planned and in writing, as well as a copy of that book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, you've talked often before about how most people can give you a pretty accurate figure for what they've got saved and invested, how much is in their nest egg. But
Yep.
most people, those same people, cannot begin to tell you how much they will end up paying in taxes on those dollars in and through retirement.
They have no idea. And I also asked them in our classes, where do you think taxes are going to go during your retirement? And 99% of the class will give you a thumbs up saying that the market's go, that the taxes are going to go up. So wouldn't you want to know what that is? So we run that report as well to make sure that we're figuring out, well, you know what? What if we started to nibble on that tax bill? Before your full retirement age, before you are made to do required minimum distributions. All these things and more we try to look at for people to see if we can, be a tax efficient. No one wants to pay more than their fair share of taxes.
And then, Tim, finally, as we have addressed this foundation, that what will provide the rest of our financial structure with its stability, the thing that can come along, and I know like skyscrapers, they say they're built to withstand earthquakes and things like that, and
Yep.
the tsunamis that have come, the major buildings, hotels, and things like that along the coastlines, also, made to withstand those high seas, storms, and hurricanes. But healthcare expenses can be that thing, that factor that we need to go ahead and reinforce and make sure that we are prepared for with that Protect and Grow blueprint.
Once in a lifetime tsunamis, to me, would be long-term care that is needed because someone in their 60s has started to form dementia, which we have seen in our office. And, those bills only go up. And so they need to be addressed. Medicare is central, but there's going to be gaps that exist. Long-term care, 7 out of 10 Americans are going to need it. 9 out of 10 of those Americans haven't even talked about it or done anything about it. So, insurance here now has evolved for retirement, and we need to make sure that people are addressing that as well.
Medicare doesn't cover all expenses.
No, no. And a lot of people think Medicare will help you with long-term care, and that is not a component of it whatsoever. So you need to make sure that you have confidence, preparation and planning equal that, know your expenses, know your income, manage your risk that's unique to retirees, and then partner with an experienced advisor, a certified financial planning practitioner that, has been through a bear market. I'm seeing a lot of advisors out there right now that haven't even seen a bear market in their career, and they're telling everyone, the market always comes back. And, that's all they've ever seen. In 31 years, I've seen where it doesn't come back for a year, 2 or 3. And that's something real that we need to worry about, especially with all these baby boomers drawing money out of the markets.
Confidence in retirement comes from preparation for retirement. Having that blueprint, ladies and gentlemen, this means understanding your spending, your expenses, building a reliable income stream, and addressing the risks that sometimes retirees are uniquely subject and exposed to. So retirement, a completely new phase of life. You do face new risks throughout retirement. Confidence comes from planning and preparation, knowing those expenses, managing those risks. And the best way to approach this is partnering with an experienced, qualified professional, a certified financial planning professional. Tim Stearns, CFP, is here as that resource for you. And if you'd like to get your own custom designed, unique to you, protect and grow written retirement blueprint, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns Inc. a call, 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256. A few copies of that book left as well. So the first 10 callers to today's program with at least $1 million saved for retirement will receive a copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, an excellent read explaining more detail of the risks that we face and how to address them in today's modern retirement. If you'd like that, again, the number, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. If you'd like to learn how to generate more income, pay less in taxes, be more financially confident into and throughout retirement, that number again, 800-640-2256. Tim, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here today, talking about Foundation First, designing your Protect and Grow written retirement blueprint.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals or growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.